You
So,
ready?
Axion.
Action. The funny thing is I forget we're on what is that place called? YouTube. They can see
I
what we're
know.
doing.
I
So
know.
with my
And
except
sometimes,
it's blurry because I
well,
have
it's
the
because,
thing.
yeah, you blurred your background out.
Okay, my background is Hot Mess Express. It is so bad. Like it's still bad back there. It's not like blurring it made it clean. But at least I don't know. In my brain, it's hidden. My brain's jacked up anyway, so we can't believe anything.
I know.
Pardon all of this. I just got back from a retreat, so I don't know if it's like all the everything from all over the place finally catching up with me. I don't know if it's just because I haven't slept well like till last night. Who knows? I just sound like a faucet, right? Is that what we talked about earlier? Anyway, I am
No,
not sick. I just sound like I am. So pardon all that.
sounds like I
Mm.
am.
It does. But you said, what'd you say? It sounds like I've been bawling.
Yeah. I said, boy, you sound like you've been bawling.
No, I have not. It's just a lot of drainage, which nobody wants to talk about. So let's not. Nobody wants to hear about Stephanie's drainage.
I'm hoping my microphone is pointing towards the window. Gosh dang it.
I can hear you
Go.
fine.
Okay. Yeah, but I always forget. Like it always sounds fine to us, and then it gets on to
Oh
the
yeah, I better move mine a little closer.
right. It gets on to the what do you call it? And then before you know it, it's like I'm messaging you and saying that doesn't sound very good.
Well, I
Not that
just
you can do anything about it, but
not at that point.
no,
But we are not professionals, nor do we profess to be
no.
professionals, but we do try. We do try to bring a decent level of
The
professionalism.
only thing I am a professional at is
Procrastinating.
procrastinating. That I could give lessons on that if anybody needs it. Reach out, Lori Dean plans.
How to best procrastinate? I know this is making all kinds
Yeah.
of noise.
What
I was
is?
trying because I was maneuvering my microphone to get it up a little higher. Okay.
Okay, so I washed my mop.
Good for you. I
I
didn't.
put on some lippy stick, but I'm not doing anything about the background. It is what it is today. It is a disaster area.
You know what? Then I'll just join you.
I'm not trying to
There.
hide. Yeah, but yours looks organized. Mine's a heap. Look down there. Okay. That's boxes and containers and all that kind of stuff that I've brought in to try and put away. All this is stuff that needs drawer space.
Does that make you feel better?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. It's just right out of you. Sorry if I made all of, oh no, my head's chopped off. If I made all of our watchers dizzy. Dang it, my head's still
Yes.
chopped off. Every time I move this, I have to like constantly.
To
I just
quote a viewer of mine, and I think she's a viewer of yours, Steph, Jody.
mhm.
She says when you get frustrated, instead of cursing, you say bullwinkle.
I say a lot of things instead of curse words, but that's my
Oh,
own personal
look
preference.
at you.
Like good gravy and I don't know, all the little goofy stuff that I say, that's my cursing. So here's what I feel is funny about that. Like this is not on topic, but are we ever?
No, exactly.
Curse words are man-made. Somebody somewhere decided this word was a bad word for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Okay? Like I can't even tell you why they are bad words. They are man-made. But because they have been labeled that for so long, it is ingrained in us that these particular word sets are offensive or whatever. And they can be, right? Like my biggest one for me out of all the curse words is when someone does take God's name in vain. That does bother me. But that is biblical and that is, whatever. But all the other words, like the F word and the S word and the D word and the Q word and the XYZ word, all of that is seriously man-made. Someone decided that was a bad word.
Yeah.
And so I don't get offended by any curse word except when someone takes God's name in vain. The F word bothers me again, but that's
Okay,
a
so can I
man-made
ask,
thing.
because I'm not a very religious person. Okay, well,
Mhm.
I am, but I'm not a Christian. Okay, let me just say that.
Okay.
What does taking God's name in vain mean to you? Because it means different things for some people. Just
So
saying the word Jesus is a bad thing to some
to
people.
some people, yeah, I mean, I do say that, um, but it's more like the GD word.
Oh,
Um, you see what I'm saying?
yeah. Okay.
Um, that's basically what I'm saying when you take God's name in vain like that, because
Okay.
you're just it's almost like cursing him. And
Yeah.
that again, but that's my problem. I don't feel like it's everybody's. You know what I'm saying? If you want to say that, and if I don't like it, I don't have to
Hmm.
listen. I don't have to be part of that conversation. If I see it or hear it somewhere else, I can scroll past it because okay, everyone take note. I'm an adult, and that is what adults do. Okay?
Yeah.
I can be offended. That is my right, as anybody else can be offended. It is not my right to go on a rampage on someone's Facebook or Instagram or whatever because they choose to speak the way they speak.
Hmm.
It's my, if I am offended, I remove myself from the offensive situation. It's not up to
Yeah.
me to change the person. So, okay, that is
And
that is the lesson for the day. It's gonna be like Sesame Street, where we have like lessons of the day in the beginning. Lesson of the day, people. If you're offended, just
well,
keep
my
scrolling.
my scenario is as I was raised by a family that were cursors. That was just like a second nature kind of thing.
A lot of
And
people are.
the joking thing was that my first word was a curse word. It wasn't mommy and it wasn't daddy. It was the F word. Now, if that's true, I doubt it, but they all joke about it. But
Yes.
anyway, I digress. My thing is this. I never, ever, ever say things on the intention of hurting anybody.
Right.
I say it out of a reaction, out of a frustrational reaction, out of something that's, peeved me off. And yes, do I, at that point in time, take anybody else into consideration? Not so much, but I certainly don't intend to say, okay, well, I'm going to say this word just to piss everyone off. No, that's not it. So anyway, I do try around people that don't like it not to do it. I do try.
And I will tell you people who don't like it, which and it's not that I don't like it. It so for me, occasional swear word doesn't bother me. It's
Mhm.
when it's that is the whole conversation.
Yeah.
When someone and when we're trying to have and I would say I would like most of my conversations to have some kind of meat and bones, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
whenever the word is a cuss word, it's
Yeah.
very hard for me to follow along and pick out the meat of the
Yeah. What
conversation.
is he? What are we
Yeah, what are
actually
we?
talking
Yeah.
about?
Exactly. So for me, the occasional cuss word in a conversation, it doesn't bother me.
Hmm.
It's whenever the word is a F this and F that and da 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 da. I'm like, why are you so angry, dude?
Yeah.
But it's not even that. It's so I'm not gonna say, like I said, the only time I get offended, like it bothers me personally,
Hmm.
is when someone takes God's name in vain or
Hmm.
someone is just effing the world right everywhere. It's just like,
Yeah.
okay, can we just have a real conversation? So that's I think that for me, that's what it is. And I
Yeah.
when I tell people I don't like cursing, I feel like then it just eliminates all the problems. I think people, I mean, I get the emphasis. Trust me, that's why I created my own words, like, good gravy and dad gummit and, whatever. And if we want to be
Hmm.
honest, and I'm going to say this for Jody, um, if we're going to be honest, all we're doing is replacing a curse word with another word. It's
Yeah.
just less offensive because it's not
Yeah.
out there. It's not in there. Does that make sense? So,
Yeah, no, I get that. I do. Anyway, the whole reason why I brought that up, like, was because I thought, okay, I like the Bullwinkle idea. Okay.
but we have had a lesson,
Everybody take a deep breath because we just got started.
right?
Oh
Oh, I
Lord.
have a feeling this is going to be a long one, but we've been gone for a while. And in all reality, guys, we've just been able to start like really like zooming and communicating last week. What is today?
Yeah.
Today's Tuesday. Yeah, last week, like Thursday, I
Yeah.
think
I think it
was
was
the
just
first
one day
day.
though, because then
Yeah.
I got doing something and then you were packing up to go
Oh,
and
yeah. It
right.
was
And
Wednesday because it was the
yeah,
day before I had to leave.
yeah. So it hasn't even been like a steady everyday thing
No,
like usual.
no,
So I think your Smokey's back there.
no, that was I don't even know my bandit. Smokey's
Oh,
kittens. He went with
sorry,
kittens. That's okay. I almost called him
Bandit.
Tigger, which is
Yeah.
an old cat. Okay. I was just listening to see what she was doing.
Okay. So do you want to let's get the sad part out of the way. I lost Dean Dean while we were gone.
Oh, you're gonna make me
I had
cry.
I know, but that's why I'm saying let's get this out of
Okay.
the way. So, just for everybody's, Dean Dean had a failing kidney, and he had had throughout his life, being a male and a black cat, apparently, um, they have a lot of kidney issues. So, long and short of it was last vet visit, which was in the summertime or maybe spring. The vet said, you're gonna they took some tests because he was throwing up a lot and the vet said long and short of it is he's coming to the end of his life with this disease and you're going to start finding different things that will be wrong with him. So they gave us a list to watch out for. And I said, well, is he in pain? Because if he's in pain, then I don't want to continue. Like, I don't want him to be in pain. He said, no, he'll let you know when he's not. And I said, okay. And right as rain, oh my gosh. So the last little bit, he was the throwing up increased. Like I literally was feeding him every 20 minutes and he was throwing it up. And then he was whining for more food. And then I would switch food out so that he would, you know, um, uh, you know, get some liquid into him because I had to give him some wet stuff now because I didn't want him to dehydrate and he
Yeah.
was drinking up a storm, but he was peeing good. So I thought, okay, so we're good. But then he started with the runs, and that wasn't good. And then he started picking on Boots, which I could tell he just was not in the mood. And then he started laying up by us, like on our
Oh,
chests. So, and that wasn't, well, I shouldn't say it wasn't normal. If George had some treats by him, he'd come up. But on the norm, he would never come and do that. So we knew, uh, you know, before, the big F happened, the flood, which we'll get to, but we knew that he wasn't doing well. And certain things had happened. The wedding was coming up, Elizabeth's 16th birthday, and we just kind of put it off a little bit and put it off because I just didn't want one more thing to
yeah,
be
a
added to
deal.
the catastrophe of 2024 for us. So anyway, long and short, we had to make that decision. And so,
I'm so sorry.
okay, stop with
I,
that.
okay, I'm not sorry.
No, but yeah, you just don't want
What
to.
day was that? That was like what,
Oh,
September 3rd or 4th?
I can't even remember. I can't remember the date.
Because Doodlebug disappeared
Hmm.
on September 6th. And I remember it was the day before that happened, or it was right in that same exact time when you told me that you had to put
Yeah,
Dean Dean down,
yeah.
that Doodlebug disappeared. So we're both
Oh,
mourning the loss of our cat because she hasn't
yeah.
come back. We haven't been able to find her. I have gone door to door, literally with the sign. I talked to Ring doorbells because people weren't home. Um, I
I
did.
could picture you, but you know what? If I was there, Steph, I would have done that exact
I
same thing with
I
you.
know. So on top of it, I was also diagnosed with plantar fasciitis. And if anybody's
Hmm.
ever had that, it is excruciating pain in your
Yeah.
foot. I feel like someone is hammering a railroad spike through the heel of my foot.
Yeah.
Now, I am out walking the pavement in the best shoes that I own with my plantar fasciitis, and I walked 2 miles
Oh my gosh.
looking for her, calling her name up because we live in a like this whole strip right here is nothing but cul-de-sacs. And on
Hmm.
the other side of our cul-de-sac is the high school and the tennis courts and the baseball field.
Right.
So it's like the whole length of all of this. I'm up and down every cul-de-sac, knocking on doors, hollering her name and her nickname. This is this crazy fat white woman walking up
Oh,
and down the
jeez.
street. Okay,
Stop.
in the middle of the street because I would be able to see. So I'm walking in the middle of the street,
Yeah.
Doodlebug, baby girl, because those are the two names I always called her, up and down, and then I walk down and around the whole length of the baseball fields, tennis courts, high
Yeah.
school. I took a picture to just send it to Lori. I was like, I just did all that, and it was about to pour down
I'm not,
rain.
I'm just so you know, I'm not ignoring you. I'm trying to figure out the day
Oh no,
so
I
that
got.
people will get a,
Well, you've heard the
do you
story,
know
so it's
it?
all good.
Yeah.
No, I
No.
know Doodlebug disappeared. The last time I saw her was on the 6th.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I can't find it. God, we talk a lot.
we do. We do chat a
Oh,
lot.
it was, yeah, September 5th it was.
Okay, so it was the day
So
before Doodlebug.
yeah. So yeah, that was a rough.
And I didn't even want to tell you that Doodlebug disappeared because you were dealing with your own thing, but I had to tell you because you're my
I know.
friend. But
I
yep,
know, it was
so
very
she hasn't
sad.
come back. And then somebody thought they saw her, so they texted me and sent me a picture of this cat. It wasn't her, but then she said that to put my scent out there, like I already had Doodlebug scent is everywhere. Her bedding, her everything has been in the backyard. She said, but
Yeah.
put I need to put my scent out there. So I have t-shirts hanging on fences all around. My whole
Aw.
the front, the back, everything are my and I keep swapping. I swapped it out when I got home because that
Yeah.
my scent's probably not there after 4 days. So I'm swapping out I'm hanging my dirty laundry literally on my fence because it has my smell. If I wash it, it doesn't have my smell. So I
Yeah.
have to hang my dirty not
Yeah.
not my under laundry, just my upper laundry is hanging on my fence.
My my under laundry. Never heard that before.
I just literally made it up. So
Oh,
that's
look
that's
at you.
why. I know.
Brilliant.
I don't know about that, but so that is our sad
That's the
sad kitty
sad.
stories.
Out of the way.
I did have two I've had two dreams that I found her. I don't remember the first one. It was weird. But the second one, Kitty and I went somewhere and we were just not even near our house. And I had this sudden urge to call her name and she was up in a tree. And oh my gosh, she came running and leapt into the window like this is a dream, y'all. And
Yeah,
into my arms and like snuggled. Oh, it was the sweetest dream ever until I had to wake up and realized it was
that's
just a
okay.
dream.
In my dream, I spoke to Dean Dean and I said, Dean Dean, you go and you get Doodlebug and tell her to get her ass home
Right.
if she knows what's good for her.
All right, Dean Dean, you're not
He hasn't
talking to
done
her
his
enough.
job.
No, he is not. Anyway, so, but the lady who told me to hang out my scent, she said, honestly, she said, our cat was missing for a little over 2 months before he found his way back home. She said, so don't
Hmm.
lose hope. I have not lost hope
No.
that my baby girl comes home. Okay. Moving
Okay.
right along, let's
What's
talk about
next?
let's talk about why we have been MIA for a month or so. Sad thing is, I don't even remember how long we've been MIA, but go, I'll look at that.
But go. So
Yeah,
you want me
tell
to
us
tell the story?
it's your story.
Okay.
It didn't happen to me, although
So,
it affected me deeply. It did not happen to me.
um, one day, 6:30 in the morning, I wake up to my son and daughter-in-law pulling stuff out of my what I call my craft closet. Okay, because hubby built me a whole wardrobe for my clothes. So this closet was not meant for clothing. So I used it for crafts, my paper, tubs of stuff, everything.
Stickers.
Oh yeah. And I jumped up because if those of you that don't know, I wear this what's called a music cozy and I listen to true crime podcasts all night long. I didn't hear them initially coming in until I started hearing them talk and then stuff coming out. So neither one of them leaned over and said, Mom. I just was startled awake. Like, you know,
They
anyway.
may have been saying your name and you just didn't hear
You know
them.
what? Could very well. Could very well.
So like, okay,
So,
she's dead. We got to get this out.
right. Um, so I jumped up and I go, What's the matter? What's the matter? And Meg said, Well, Nan, we think there's a flood. And the water isn't running and the water meter downstairs is tick 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 tick. So like and we see a big puddle at the side of the house. Now the side of the house where my area is the hose, the outside taps. Okay.
Hmm.
And I thought, oh, okay. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why haven't I heard anything? You'd think I'd hear water gushing or
Right.
I didn't hear any of it, right? So anyway, long and short is that we pulled everything out and yes, there was a lot of water. There was a cap that was in the back that was capped off. I guess it had corroded behind the wall and it busted open and the water. We don't know how long that water had been running out.
No.
We have no idea. Probably throughout the night because Connor said he noticed it when he got up in the middle of the night to go to the washroom that the toilet wasn't flushing proper.
Mm.
And so we're thinking it was at least from about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay. So we're now looking at 6:30 in the morning.
And it may
Anyway,
have started as a slow trickle and eroded,
it,
and
it could
who
very well
knows?
have done that. Who knows? But Brad went off to work. Meg and I were mopping up the water. We put majority of the stuff, my craft area stuff, like none of my this up here, none of my desk stuff. Okay, nothing got moved from here initially,
I was gonna say yet.
right? Um, but then hubby come home and he tore up the back of the closet and the around the door, and there was water. Pardon me. But when Brad come home, Brad said, "Oh, I don't know that it's it's sopped up a lot because they have what's called underneath there was like a Rockwell insulation, so it can get damp and still not harbor
Bacteria and all that.
bacteria, fungus, all that kind of stuff. So uh, Brad said only if it's sopping wet do we have to worry about it. And so anyway, he took up the flooring, took up all the wood underneath, and it was pulling out the insulation. And the more he pulled it out, the more it was sopping wet. And as he got down to here, because my room is kind of, it used to be, it used to be the garage.
Hmm.
So it's on
Like
a
a
cement slab, and it's a little bit of a dip.
yeah,
So the floor had to be built up, obviously, right?
right.
So as George is pulling all the insulation out, Meg and I've got the green garbage bags and it's soaking wet and soaking wet. He goes, "We need to stop. Everything needs to come out of this room." And I'm like, "What? What? What do you mean?" "Okay, well, where can we could put the carts in there." And he goes, "No, Lorie, your desk is going to have to come out, all this whole floor." When I tell you the upheaval,
We make up our own words.
right?
Sexy.
The upheaval I have had to endure for over a month was beyond me. I almost didn't
Recover.
seriously, I was
I
going to give
know.
up. I was going to give up everything, and I am not exaggerating.
I know you're not. I had to talk you off a mini ledge.
I was not exaggerating. I thought, okay, I'm done. This is not. I couldn't videotape because everything was off my desk. And George says, "Oh, well, just to, go out in the kitchen. There's dogs running around. There, like, there's no station.
But you
Plus,
still didn't know where your stuff was.
that's it. Plus, I had no idea where any of my craft stuff was, where my stickers got. We have like 5 sheds. So between the basement, the sheds, my car, okay, it was piled high full of stuff. So what would you like me to do exactly? You know what I mean? I'm trying to give an example. Like, what do you want me to do? I'm not going to go digging through stuff every time I have to do a video. I'm not doing it.
There's no way you could
I
though.
know. So
Because
I
it
said,
wasn't
no,
it wasn't packed. There's a difference when you put packed stuff in. No, this was literally just handfuls of stuff and it was just dumped.
people grabbing
Because
stuff
I
just to
saw
get
the
it out.
pictures.
Yeah. And it was, honestly, it was a shambles. So um, I felt so bad because there was things I was supposed to mail people, but everything got pulled up so quick. I didn't know where to look for it. Or anyway.
What about your
Whew.
beads?
Oh, okay. That's coming up. Okay.
Okay, okay,
So
go ahead. Sorry, I'm jumping
one
the
of the,
gun.
that's okay. One of the carts that, you know, hubby decided to move on his own after we made a plan. Okay, so tomorrow morning, this is what we're going to do. He decides he's going to do it on his own. So doesn't the beads fall off the trolley? And there's beads everywhere. I I
That was
don't
a
even know
tipping
how to
point.
I don't even know how to express. I didn't know whether I wanted to just end it all for me or for him.
Taking you
Right?
both out.
It's like this is too much for me. And you know, and I'll get to this afterwards if I remember. Remind me to tell you about childhood trauma. Okay.
Okay,
Anyway,
got it. Hmm.
um, so long and short of it is, we spent the day unpacking, taking stuff out of drawers, all that kind of stuff, and just getting it clear. Then it was okay. So where are you going to sleep? I said, I'm sleeping right in my room until the floor gets ripped up in that area, which it didn't really have to get ripped up in that area because like I said, it goes on a slope. So
Hmm.
nothing was wet up there. It was just all down here. So I'm staying in my bed. I'm not the it's one thing to be upheavaled from my stuff, but I'm not going to go sleep in a different bed with none of my, you know,
Anything.
creature comforts, like as it is, my little end table thing had to get put into his room. So 9 times out of 10, I forgot to take my meds because it's not beside me.
Hmm.
So
Habit.
anyway, I feel like I'm jibber jabbering way too much, but yeah, this is what's happened. And then George says, "Okay, I'm going to have a couple days off next week. I'm going to get to it." I said, "Okay." In the meantime, okay, in the meantime there, a couple things happened. So, and I can't even remember what. I think well, one of them was big was the wedding,
Yes.
okay? So there was that, which was a godsend because honestly, if I didn't have that happy thing happen, I don't know what I would have done. But there was that. And then he hurt his knee at work. So that threw the flooring thing off because we went for flooring right away. And because the intention was he was going to get to it straight away, right?
Hmm.
So I said, "Well, what are you going to do?" I said, "I'm not living like this." He goes, "I'm just going to throw down some 2x4s, the chipboard, the
Yeah,
thing."
yeah.
But he says, "You're not going to be able to walk on it, Lorie, for like a long time, right?" And I said, "What do you mean walk on it? Like, can I walk on it? I'm not going to go through it, right?" "No, no, you'll go through it." But he says, I just mean that you're not going to be able to put your stuff on it. You're not like, it's
Hmm.
just doesn't, it's not going to be
It's not sturdy enough for everything.
right. And I said, okay, well, that's not a problem. Okay, that's fine. And then for a week, he was incapacitated. He was in his bed. His knee was done. I don't know what he did at work. Something happened. And then after that, it got to be a little bit better. And he went to work and he did it again. So there was another week off his foot.
Yep.
And I'm thinking to myself, I need him to work more than I need my craft stuff.
I
Like
don't know about that.
and but I didn't want him to feel bad, right? I
Hmm.
didn't want him to say, "Oh, well, screw work, get my room done," right? Because
Right.
he felt,
Okay. That was my message to her. Tell
yeah,
him, screw all that. Your room
yeah.
comes first. You're like,
So
yeah, I can't.
anyway, long and short of it is, uh, finally, a friend of ours said, I guess he was talking to friends of ours, and he said, "Oh, I can come. I'll help. You just cut it all for me, and then I'll do
Lay it
it."
down.
But then it got so busy for George, he didn't have time to like he didn't have days off to. So then this friend of ours, Larry, and his buddy came and did it halfway. Anyway, at the end of the day, it got done. And then the last week and a half has just been pulling stuff from all the different places and trying to organize it.
It's a challenge.
So
Our last
it,
podcast was August 20th.
oh my gosh. So that was like
It was a month.
a month,
It's been a month because it
a month.
happened right after that.
Yeah, it did. Like
It
that very
Yep.
next day, I think. My
Or
nose is
the
so
or the
itchy.
whatever that it happened very shortly after that podcast.
Yeah.
So
So that
it's
was
been a hot
that.
minute.
It's been really bad.
But look at
And
you now. You're there.
although I can videotape and I can zoom and I've got my stuff, oh, and just the tidbits of things that sent me off the deep end, he would get his invoice ready and hand it to me. I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do with this?
Your computer's not even
Like, everything's away. He goes, oh shit, I forgot. No, how did you forget? Like,
like, oh, because you're not living the
yeah,
dream.
yeah.
Okay.
Here's my invoice. Can you get this done by tomorrow so I can? No. What do you want me to do? I can handwrite it,
On the at the kitchen table because you
right?
can't do anything else.
But just little stuff like that was like, trying to find stuff for the wedding. Like,
Oh,
okay, so I had to. Okay, so I'm just going to tell it all. Okay,
tell it.
I wear Spanx.
Good for
Okay,
you.
okay, but the last time I wore Spanx was a long time ago.
At another
Okay,
wedding.
at a different wedding that I actually had to have George help me get them on and off. Those things were like it was a sausage casing besides,
Yes.
I'm telling
They're
you.
rough.
Do you think I could find that anywhere? I looked and of course there's so many tubs down the basement because, all the stuff, anyway. I couldn't find it, so I had to go buy one. Oh my gosh. That was a deal.
I bet that sends you right off the deep end too.
Everything did.
I know.
That's the thing. I don't think I had, and like I said to you, even if I had the ability to videotape, I don't know that I would because I was not a
You weren't
happy
in a good
person,
place. You just weren't in a good place.
not a happy person whatsoever. So I don't know that I would have been the same old Laurie Jean plans on there. I don't even think, honestly, I don't even think I am to this day still. Like you know,
I get it. It'll take you a while to get back to feeling
yeah,
your normal self.
like I'm dying to get to crafts, but none of my stuff is put away properly so I can figure out what I want to do. So the mojo is gone. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
I do.
That's my thing. Anyway, that's kind of the biggest thing that's happened to me.
The biggest thing that's happened to me is Doodlebug disappeared.
Yeah.
And then I just got back from a junk journal retreat.
Oh
My
yeah, that's
first
exciting.
ever. It was a good retreat. as with any time you go somewhere, there's always like little glitches, right? Like I have never been to an event that was like glitch free, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no,
Because
there's always things that
there's
don't.
always little things that you're just like, oh well, and you just have to go with the flow.
Hmm.
But I made a lot of neat friends and
Yeah.
my business did really well. I sold my advent box sold out. Well, I thought it had sold out, but then I calculated I don't do math. I don't do numbers. If you put a number in front of me, I'm like, that is not my thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I somehow miscalculated and there's actually two more that are available. So, but I know they're going to go because as soon as I put it out there that there's two more available, they're going to go. So the advent boxes and that moment I thought had sold out. Um, I make these. Well, this was in last year's advent box. Everybody loved it because I brought mine. Ro brought hers. Lisa brought hers. So everyone's like, "Oh my god!" Well, these are actual vintage thread spindles. So this is like what the thread was on, and there's a hole here, and it sits on the thing, and it would come off.
Yeah.
These are not as easy to find as you would think.
I
Well,
don't think I've
while
ever seen them.
while I was up there, we did a day of treasure hunting, and I found 13.
Oh my
When I
gosh.
got back, I already had four of them sold. They weren't even made yet. Like I had to come home and like put the, stuff on it and so you can actually ink. So these are coming soon. So the point of all that is, I did really well. The business did really well on this retreat that I went to. That was not my intention. It just flowed and it just happened that way.
Yeah.
Learned a lot and I got so these people are so talented. Like, so you know how anytime you go to any like big event, there's always the
Yeah.
table swag and there's the swaps and I mean beautiful, beautifully handmade things. So that's all the stuff over there that has to be cleaned up. And then there's stuff on the other side that has to be cleaned up. And then I still have a business to run. So, but it was so much fun and I was absolutely so inspired that I decided to pull the trigger myself and I'm going to have my own junk drawer retreat.
Oh, that's exciting.
And it's so exciting. 2025 though. Everyone just calm down. Like Stephanie's
Everyone
not ready.
relax.
It's not happening next week. But yeah, stay tuned. That all is coming. But I am super excited about that.
Yeah.
I can't wait. It's
Yeah, the
going to be so
pictures look
much
like a
fun.
lot of fun. Like the
Yeah, we
little,
stayed in like these little vintage campers, like the cute ones you see like anytime someone's like this little kind of scenario, those
oh,
kind of little
yeah,
vintage
yeah,
campers. Yeah.
yeah,
So it was like that, but they kind of gutted them, right? So it was just like the beds and there was some shelves in there and what have you. So
yeah,
it was just a really neat, different experience. Um, and then the people. And for me, it was the people. The sleeping arrangements were not ideal for me because every camper was different. And the
yeah,
camper that I got in was a little different, but I
yeah,
wasn't there to sleep.
yeah.
So, it's all good. But yeah, I had a ton of fun. So much fun. Super inspired. So,
That's pretty
and
cool.
I don't think Lainey is now playing softball. Her first game is actually tomorrow night. And so I
Yeah.
told Rachel, I said, I'll go to the Wednesday night games because I cannot do the Saturday daytime heat, but I'll do the Wednesday night games. So um she has her first game tomorrow, and Lizzie joined the choir.
Aw.
So she's in the choir. What else? I mean, just the little odds and ends, but nothing. I don't think am I missing anything big that I don't remember?
No. I missed Connor turning 19. I forgot. Connor turned 19 in September.
Oh, that's right, he did.
So that's pretty exciting. And I don't know if I told you, but we booked a big family cruise in December.
I saw that you just posted that. Yeah, you told me,
Yeah.
but because you were going to go to Florida,
We were
that
going to
was too
go to, yeah,
expensive.
we rented a house and we but it ended up with the conversion and the flights were, oh my gosh, like so expensive you would not even have believed.
It's December, that's
Okay.
why.
I know, but it's even worse than I've been away in December. I usually go away at Christmas time. And the flights were never that much money. This is
Oh.
like almost double the way it
But
used
you
to
were
be.
flying into Florida, right?
Yeah, yeah,
At Christmas.
yeah.
That is the peak season for Disney. That's Christmas vacations people take to Disney because all their kids are off
Okay.
school.
But we've taken last year we took that same cruise with Larry and Ruth, and it didn't cost us that much for flights. It
Hmm.
it was with the flights, the house, all the conversion rates. There was 9 of us going, so that we would have had to rent 3 vehicles for the week. And I priced it out, and that was for two was 26.50 Canadian, not even American. And so it was getting to the point where it was like, okay, you know what? And then the travel agent said, well, we just priced it out for somebody, and it was going to cost to go to a 2 day park, the theme park to Disney,
Mm-hmm.
was going to be 800 US per person. So take away all that stuff that you don't want to, like, okay, let's
Yes.
say we don't want to go to the parks. Well, now what are we going to do? Because, that's mainly why we're all going there, was to go to some of the parks.
Mm-hmm.
The guys wanted to golf, that kind of stuff. But if you're adding all this up, it was just getting to be astronomical.
Yeah.
So anyway, long and short, we decided the cruise was the better option, even though, because in the cruise your flights are in there, you're like everything's kind of in there. And so that's what we did. So we're so excited
Well,
the whole
good for
family's
you.
going on vacation. And
Well, I will
everyone's
miss you.
given everyone's given Meg a bit of a hard time. How can you go away at Christmas? And like, you know,
How
it's
could,
going to be a sad time at Christmas time. Who wants to be around the house,
yeah.
right? Like,
No, I get it.
we're going to miss Elizabeth, obviously, but, you know, let's go and have a little bit of an enjoyment and take that, you
Take
know,
time for yourself.
yeah,
Enjoy. Y'all are at the age and the capability to do it. Do it.
yeah.
Do it.
So,
Because
so
people
that's
wait
exciting.
for some kind of perfect alignment
Oh,
and then it never happens. So you know what? If it makes y'all happy, that's all. Let's go.
yeah,
If it makes you happy, go. Baby girl will be here soon. I think she's what, 34 weeks, 35 weeks.
oh my gosh,
I
really
know.
soon.
So this weekend, Saturday, is her Zoom baby shower.
Yeah,
So yeah, we're having her Zoom baby shower Saturday. And November 3rd is her due date. I don't think that she's gonna make it, but she might. First
no,
babies, you never know.
yeah, they're
So
temperamental.
they are. Until
I
they get here,
was,
generally first babies are good babies.
yeah, I
But
was 3 weeks late with both mine.
I was
Way
two
back in the day,
weeks.
they didn't induce you; they just let you go late.
Oh yeah, just forever. Didn't care. You would do old wives' tale remedies like castor oil and
Right,
orange juice.
right.
Yeah,
Spicy food.
yep, all of that. And
Yeah,
if people thought, oh, it worked, but you were already going to go into labor. That didn't.
yeah.
So
No, it's just,
I think that is all the new stuff big stuff I can remember. Little things happened of which I don't remember. So
I know, eh?
I'm like looking around for inspiration.
Yeah.
Can't find any. My office it was so clean when I left, and now I brought all this stuff home. I have to
But the
unpack.
one thing I did do while I was down was I went to thrift stores like no other.
Yes, you did, and you got
Like
some gorgeous
I'm
stuff.
like, I trying to figure out what I want to do for my first junk journal. Like I've done junk journals before, as you know, but
Yes.
I've always created them from a book or like a an actual journal book,
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
You haven't
Not
made it from scratch.
not from a Cracker Jack box or you know what I mean? That kind of
That would
stuff.
be a
So
little one.
I know. So I've been saving all kinds of, I don't even know. Do I have any handy? I should have them handy. They're everywhere. But anyway, yeah. See this? This is going to be a little junk journal
Oh,
at
cute.
some point, right? This
Your your heartburn medicine.
my heartburn medicine.
Oh, that's too
But
funny.
yeah, there's that. And what else? I think that's, I mean, there's lots of stuff, but like all my punches are still in my car. Like there's so much still in my car.
I know. Well, it will happen. After this, we'll zoom and clean and chit chat and whatever, you know? So,
Yeah.
uh, I don't have a clue. We have not had time to really sit down and talk about future podcasts. We just knew that we wanted to get this one out for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
um, catch everyone up, let everyone know what's been going on. But we're back. So, next week we will have a plan. We'll have, an itinerary. So we'll be able to tell y'all kind of what's coming.
Yeah.
Right now, all I know is we're back and I'm so
Yeah.
excited. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was really worried that when you were just gonna quit everything and the podcast was gonna go, because I asked you once about the podcast and I got a I don't know,
Because
and I
I
left it. I know, and I left it alone until. But I could tell, like when they got the floor done and you were so excited and we zoomed, I could tell that you weren't ready to actually give it all up.
yeah,
Like I think in the
I
moment you were, like circumstantially you
for the
were,
long moment.
yes.
Like it wasn't just a moment.
But
It was
I
like
think when you were
weeks.
able to sit back down
Yeah.
and I think you're like, okay, so I'm
But
super excited.
you know what it was too? It was the comments. So you get like I think that's what was the hard part for me was oh my God, you got so much stuff.
Yeah.
Holy crow, look at all that stuff. Where do you put all this stuff? It really, really tore me down a little bit, I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
I know.
So I'm thinking to myself, okay, so many people are saying it. Is it true? Is it
But
just
it's
too
because they
much?
don't get it. But if you
Yeah.
go into any man's garage, why do you have 30 wrenches? Why do
Yeah.
you have all of these hammers? You know what I'm saying?
So
Like,
true.
so I don't understand why you need 30 hammers.
Yeah.
I don't care that you have 30 hammers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when people don't get it, and that was a really good thing about like being at this jungle retreat is being around people who totally got your excitement over
Yeah.
an old piece of trash. Or you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
for real
Yeah.
though, when you're finding like when I was so excited, I dang near squealed. No, nobody unless you know understands that. When
Yeah.
I found books, I was showing them how to actually treasure hunt, right? So
Yeah.
this is how you have to like find the treasures that are in and amongst things.
Right.
So this one lady found a ledger. Y'all, you would have thought it was Christmas and everything wrapped up in one. She was so excited. Unless you know,
Yeah.
that is not going to excite you. Because a lot of people who go antique shopping, they're looking for furniture
Mm-hmm.
or knickknacks or
Yeah.
doodads. We're like looking for stuff to tear apart.
Yeah.
So they don't get it, and that's why.
No, and the thing is too is I think at the time it was like just before everything got pulled out of here, late a friend and his son stopped by and George is like bringing them in and like and I'm thinking to myself like George, you don't understand. This is also my bedroom. Like
Hmm.
the back half of my room is my bedroom. So I yeah, it was it was oh, that's what I wanted to tell you. So remember I told you about childhood drama,
Yes, trauma.
trauma. So, um, so as a kid, so upheaval, because he said to me, I don't understand why you are so worked up over this. Why are you so because I was like worked up.
Yeah.
I said, okay, so you don't understand it. The thing of it is when you're raised in upheaval, moving every other month, the dad with the alcohol problem. Are we going to eat? Let's pack up and go to grandma's house so we can, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
there was no um
Consistency,
consistency or
schedule,
stabilization,
or anything.
nothing. So I have a hard time with upheaval. I have a
Hmm.
hard time when I don't know what's coming, what like you talk about schedules and stuff like that. I need to know and that's because when you have childhood trauma, it sticks with you.
Yes.
Because, and this came up again because of my brother. So my brother he had to sell his house, and he had a couple of strokes, and he was not well. So that had to, and my niece was back at university, so she was gone, and so he wasn't handling that very well, the upheaval of it all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because, and I tried to explain to George on one of our many trips back from there, and that's another thing, in amongst all of this, I was trying to help him
Sell his house
and
and get
sell
ready to
his
sell his
house
house,
and
pack
pack
stuff
up
up.
and all that kind of stuff. So I said, what you don't understand is when you're raised in complete upheaval, it's hard to
Because
it's hard
you
to deal
have
with.
you've created your life
Yeah,
very structured.
yeah,
And so when that structure gets messed up,
yeah.
it's throwing you back into that childhood
It
trauma.
does. It's complete and utter frustration, fear,
Mm-hmm.
all those
A
things.
lot of anxiety,
Oh,
tons and tons of anxiety go with
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And it can be
So
debilitating.
it is debilitating
Yeah,
because at that time, like I said, it was like, okay, you know what? I don't care. I'm giving up. That was literally, and
I
as I
know.
say it now, it
I get the
sounds,
messages that say I'm done. I'm
yeah,
not coming. I can't come back from this.
yeah,
Like, okay.
yeah.
I tried really hard to give you your space and not beg you.
No, and I
I
totally
knew.
appreciate,
I
I
knew
did
where you
appreciate it.
were. I
Yeah,
knew where you were. I knew what you were going through.
yeah,
And I know you well enough to know that
yeah,
you just needed to know I was still here.
yeah.
And if you needed something, I was still here.
And I had, a couple people reach out to see if I needed anything, and can I send you some stickers? You know what I
You're
mean?
like, I know
And
where to put them.
so no, it was okay. The
It's very
loss
nice.
the loss was minimal, and
Yeah.
I could recoup from it. And what I did loss wasn't really a loss.
Yeah.
Do
I
you know
know.
what I mean?
I do.
So yeah. So yeah, that's why I wanted to bring up the childhood trauma thing, because it really, I was surprised at how it rears its ugly head with you again. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? When that stuff comes up that you've had
And it's
as a
even
child.
harder when you're married to someone who didn't have childhood
Yeah.
trauma.
Yeah.
And we talked about that.
Yeah.
Maybe that should be a podcast topic.
Yeah, maybe it should be. Maybe
I'm
write it
writing it
down,
down. I
because I
am.
won't remember. But George had trauma of his own as a child. He had 9 kids and they never had anything, and so there was, issues there. But
But sometimes I think men handle it different than women,
yeah,
or maybe they don't
yeah,
handle it at all. I don't know. We'll have to
I don't,
research.
I, d-
Da-da-da.
yeah, I don't know, but that was a big problem for me, was that upheaval. I just
Yeah,
can't take it.
I know.
I'm not a very good person when it comes to that kind of thing. I'm not a nice person.
She
So
doesn't like to be displaced. No
no,
displacement.
and I've said it before in the podcast, but it takes a lot for me to get downright nasty. And
That was a lot.
that was,
That was a lot. It had been a lot for anybody though, truly,
yeah,
to have everything that, because not only did you just lose your room and your space, you lost your outlet,
yeah,
that your creative outlet, but just your outlet in general,
hmm,
that's your livelihood. Do you depend on it for money? No, but it is your life
no,
that gives you purpose.
yeah,
And when people lose the thing that gives them purpose,
hmm,
it's hard.
yeah,
I mean, I struggled with that when mom passed away because she was my purpose. She was a
yeah,
lot of things, and that wasn't the only thing, but I took care of her
hmm,
24/7. Everything revolved around mom. And when
yeah,
she passed away and it happened so abruptly, I felt like I had no purpose left.
yeah,
Like, what am I going to do now?
yeah.
What's going to
It's
fill all these
Now what
voids?
do I do? Yeah,
Yeah, and so it's hard when that is taken away from you. It wasn't a choice. It didn't happen gradually. It was
hmm,
all of a sudden this is taken away from you, and you're just going to have to deal with it until such time as we can. And that's another thing, is not knowing when.
That
It
that
just
was the
got,
hard thing.
yeah, getting pushed and pushed
Yeah.
and pushed. Yeah. I mean, honestly, if I could have got on a plane, I'd have come up there and laid floor. Like,
And then the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, okay, some of my stickers are in a shed. And here the weather is either, you know, 34 degrees Celsius or it's freezing cold like it is right now. So I'm thinking I could just picture my sticker books out there just melting and then cold and melting and
oh,
cold. And I'm like,
warping.
okay. So like here I'm thinking I've water damage a little wee bit, but everything out there is getting all warped and
Yep. Humidified
oh my gosh. It was like constant
so much.
break fest.
So much. But I'm glad you're back. I
Yes.
have missed you immensely because I lost my best friend for a little while. Like you were there and I knew you'd come back and I was okay, but I did. And it's hard when your friends are going, especially so far away. Like I can't just pop over and be like, okay, I'm here and we're going to go shopping
Yeah.
together to kind of get you out. I can't do that. So and that is helpful. I've had my
But there was
friend
a
do that
few
with
times
me.
that you would reach out and my thing is if I'm like if I don't have anything nice to say, I'm just keeping my mouth shut. And I'm not dragging other people down into my
I know.
misery. I don't care if you're my best friend or not. I'm not saying a dang word.
I know.
But on top of that, I didn't know what was happening. So
I
when
know.
people are asking me what's
Hmm.
happening, and I'm getting that every day, or not to say that you did, but other people, it's frustrating because I don't know what to say to you. I
No, I
want
get
it
that.
done too,
Hmm.
right? So it was like infuriating because I want to be able to answer everybody that's asking me what's going on. My cousin, but I'm like, I don't know what to say to
I don't
you.
know. Yep.
Okay.
I get it.
So
I get it. Okay, well, I forgot to put the timer up, but
I
we've
noticed
been
that
on
and
for
I have
like
no,
an hour and 12 minutes.
holy crow.
Well, we had a lot of catching up to do, and it was
Yeah.
story time, and you know, people love us. They'll listen to us for an hour.
Yeah.
Chit
But
chat.
I do have to say, thank you to everyone that watched my videos while I was gone. It was nice to see people commenting on old videos that,
Yes,
so
that's awesome.
it was nice to see that. I thought, okay, that makes me feel a little bit better anyway, that they're,
And to be honest, I watched a couple of your videos just so I could have your voice.
oh Lord.
I missed you. I was
Oh,
like, okay, I'm just gonna listen to her talk. I know the story. I've already seen it. I just needed to have Lori's voice and my
yeah.
presence. So I would, when I was really missing you and I knew you couldn't do anything, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna play one of her video. So
Oh well.
yes, you got some view hours for me just because
Yeah.
I needed your voice in my office.
Oh well. But that's it.
That is it. Okay. You know what? We really have to work on ending this podcast because I
I
don't know
know.
how we do it. It's like,
Okay, someone give us
right?
like how do we say goodbye? I just don't want to. Well, I don't want to. I want to just jump in and say okay, bye. But I don't want to cut you off if you still have something to say.
I don't, but we just keep talking because we don't know how to end it. And so it's just like, okay, well, I watched your videos and now then you have a comment. Okay, guys, we're
Okay,
done.
ready,
We'll see.
set, bye.
Bye.